for the lesson today is going to be twofold. We're going to go over some footwork, and then we're also going to go over some of the some new techniques for striding, and then we're going to go over some new techniques for crawling. I haven't spent a ton of time with you on crawling, so we're going to go over that and go over some basic patterns and introduce some new stuff that's got a little more complexity to it. Okay, so all right, let's get started. We're going to start with warm-up. You guys can start up top. We're going to start from the ankles and move up for the most part. So everybody stand up. And we've got ankle warm-up here. We're going to come up like that. And then how's audio? Can you guys hear me with the drilling going on?
Yeah, I mean, it's not super loud, but I can hear you.
Okay. All right, hold on real quick.
Back up so you can actually see.
I muted myself so you don't hear my weird noises.
You just hear my neighbors like walking by judging me because I have to have the door open. Like,
is that where your light comes from?
Yeah, well, so the lighting in our garage is really super messed up. If we turn it on, it tries to catch on fire. So we just have to use the outdoor.
It's worth the risk.
Well, it doesn't actually work now, so.
Oh, that's good.
Really bright. I think the hardest thing, is there any way, I don't know, like, Travis, I have a hard time seeing you when I'm back there.
Okay.
Like,
I
like,
can't.
on my screen.
Right, I'm smaller, so I'll try and
So
stay.
I'll just have to describe it.
Yeah. I'll show you where I'm at, and I'll try and stay as close to in frame as I can. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to get another lens here in the future to make these really work. But let's start here and see if it works out. Okay.
Okay.
Do your best. You might also have to just Chromecast to a bigger TV at some point or something, but
Yeah.
don't worry. I'll make big movements, and I'll move closer so you can see my feet.
Okay.
I'm gonna mute you guys for a sec. Okay, just jump up and down and wave your arms if you need help and are lost or something like that happens. Okay, let's get started. So today we're focusing on two things. We're going to be focusing on some jumping techniques, some patterns with our legs. So we'll be using our legs again. And then we'll also be going onto the ground and focusing on some basic crawling techniques that we'll use to transition underneath things. Potentially over things once the pattern is down, and then you can also use coming out of a jump or a roll. But we're going to get started with the ankles first. So I'm going to have you guys follow along with me, and we're just going to do some more for the ankles. You're going to start with your arm swing like this, and then as we come up, you're going to lift up in the toes. So here, there. So in this warm up, I'm just coming up on the toe, and then I'm also bending my knees slightly at the bottom. Once I start to get that pattern, I'm going to let my arm swing back and then stretch the hamstring a little bit here. So I'm rocking hips back, I'm pulling the toes up, and I'm leaning back. I'm using my arms in front to counterbalance. Okay, here, I'm going to swing back and then up onto the toes, back behind. I have a little baby squat here I'm doing, and then I'm standing straight up. Opening the chest, coming back down on the balls of the feet. Good, I'm gonna switch in front. So now we're gonna go a little bit lower this time, you guys. So here, down, up, arm swing behind, scoop down, swing up. So this is still a scoop, but the arms swing behind and then swoop up as I stand up. Moving more weight to the balls of the feet. let the arms relax back to this neutral position at the top. So load, scoot, stand up. And what I want you to feel here is you stand up, the arms pulling from you standing up, right? So it shouldn't feel forced. I can almost feel the blood. Well, I can definitely feel the blood going to my hands. And then I'm going to kind of sort of toss it up back into this catching position where I'm neutral and balanced. Weight is on the balls of my feet. My heels are slightly touching here, but this is mostly swinging and scooping in that upright position. Good. Okay, we're going to do some single leg stuff. I'll stand profile so you can see me. This one here, the right leg will come back, and the left leg will have a bend. I'm going to reach down towards the ground, touch it if I can. Let's do like 5 of these, guys. My offside hand is kind of balancing. Switch sides. Weight is on the ball of feet, midfoot a little bit, and come back up and let the heel touch at the top. Good. All right, so loading now through the hamstring. That was more quad dominant. We're going to load through the hamstring a little bit. We'll come up on the balls of the feet, let the heels come back to the heels, bend at the hips, come down, touch the toe. When you come back up, good morning style, we're bending at the hips, okay? So up on the balls of the feet, or the heels, back on the heels, so that the hamstring is taut. Go down, touch, stretch, and then as I come back up, I'm pulling back through the hamstring, okay? Drawing back through the hamstring. Down, stretching out, pull, back up, okay? So on the way down, I'm gonna go down here till the end range of motion. The hips crease here. And then I'm going to let the back round. Let my hands touch wherever it's comfortable. A little bit of push there, it's fine. And then I'm going to load back to this like rounded position on my back. And then I'm going to lift up and squeeze through the glutes. Okay? Let's try some more. Okay, so that's the shape that I want you guys to eventually get to with your single leg variations, okay? So that was sort of what we're going for. I let you guys bend over a little bit. I want you to keep the curve in the spine this time, and then I'm gonna let you guys go down, hinging at the hip in order to get that fuller range of motion and onto the hamstring. So we're onto one leg again. These are straight leg deadlifts here. This hand could be on the outside. This one bounces, and this one comes down the center like this, okay? Leg is straight, and then pull back up. So I'm doing almost like a scale here where I'm starting to balance, but this leg is straight, and that allows me to focus on the hamstring in the movement. That's what you should be feeling. Flat foot, hamstring, calf, okay? Down, and then pull back up. Trying to keep the hips squared off. So my right hip right now, which is this hip on the outside, sort of feels like it's turning inward slightly, okay? That's ensuring that it stays squared, and the emphasis on the hamstring. I can come up here. You can touch the ground if you want, or you can let the leg swing through. But again, the emphasis is on the hamstring. Hey, sir, can we open this garage door real quick and move oxygen? I'm recording, but... You're recording? Yeah. I'm recording and I have people staring at me, wondering what's going on, so probably not. Just give me like a little bit of time. Yeah, that's a no. Down.
Yes.
No. right, so we're doing the same thing on the other side. Good. Okay. So that will do you guys both sides. We've got some work that then is done on the front, on the anterior, and the front, and the quad. We've got some work on the back that helps you warm up the hamstring in just that body weight fashion. Okay. So let's try some jumping, a little bit light jumping and precision calibrations. So we're going to start first with the light jumping. We'll be on 2 feet. Okay. And you're going to start to swing the arm slightly, and then when the arms swing forward, you'll pop up. And then you'll land softly on the ground, right? So here. So just a little scoop, 1 every 3, 2. This is our third one. Scoop and pop, okay? Scoop, jump. Scoop, jump. Nice. So what I want you to focus on here is making the chest and the body weightless as we go for the jump. So everything doesn't feel like it's just the legs pushing the torso up. They're sort of working together and get that floaty feeling in your arms. And it'll help you pop up, okay? Again, if you guys have neighbors beneath you, they'll just know that you're really active or clamoring for help. Okay, good. So now that we've primed that, I want to have you guys try the jump. This time we're going to find the pattern where the arms are swinging, but we're just coming off of our feet, on the balls of our feet, up in a bounce, okay? So here, you're going to let your arms come behind each time, pulling back. Good, okay? So we're do a couple of rounds of those. We're going to transition to single leg. So in this one, the arm is going to be reciprocating, and the ball of the and you're going to be coming off of the ball of the foot. Okay, so this we're going to start with the left side. So you'll be here, and then you're going to come up. So from profile, I'm in this position here, and as I'm doing this, I'm pulling the hip up. To pull the hip up, you can flex the ankle. Okay. All right, we'll switch sides. So come back, load this one. You can start in the split leg like this, and then you can pull up to the knee. So the emphasis here is that I'm shifting the weight forward. Going to the ball of foot, I'm driving my hips up, chest is slightly forward, and the reciprocation of the arms is helping me get floaty. Good, okay. So next one we're gonna do is we're gonna bounce out and in like that, okay? So this one's gonna be another one for the ankles, but what we're gonna do is start with the feet together, bounce out, bounce back in. Weight is on the balls of the feet the whole time, okay? All right, and if you want, you can open your arms a little bit in this, if that helps. The reciprocating nature of it will change later to be like this. So it won't really matter what you do right now. We're just gonna do 10 of those guys. So the goal here is to get a fast rebound, but not have a ton of weight. So we're trying to respond quickly. So you can try to make this return a little quicker. Get that? And that. So I'll send you the other one. So it's 3, 1, 2, 3. So you'll end on either side when we're doing the threes, right? Out, in, out, in, out, in. Okay? Pattern. Okay, good. Good. So those will teach you to be a little faster on your feet and on your ankles. So the next one, we're gonna go out And then we're going to be driving the knee up. It'll look like this. So this is a switch between basically being in that outside stance and then jumping back in, but this time we jump back in, opposite side hand and knee are up, and then we jump back out. We're back to that more of a straddle. All right, so here and then there, okay? You can use this motion if it helps you feel like the reciprocation is more natural. I'll do it from profile here. Knee drive, chest is forward. If your ankles can handle it, you'll try to increase the intensity by moving a little more quickly. Good, like that. All right, so let's try 5 more in sequence here. Good, so let's try the other side. That'll mean this hand is up in the beginning. When we come in, we reciprocate. Go slow. In the beginning, we'll go slow. All right, from the side. Yeah, right? No, on the other side. There you go. Good. A few of those in. So, that one I like because it helps us with our strides, okay? Getting used to the unilateral movement. When we're working with body weight stuff a lot in the fundamentals, we want to spend a lot of time on unilateral, which means picking one side of the body to place an emphasis on, okay? And that is going to load it because normally the body shares the weight across 2 legs. So we're going to 1 leg here. All right, so the next one we can do will be hands down at the side is probably going to be easiest. And then when you return to chamber, and then we'll try to add both in, okay? Try your best just to find the rhythm. Once you've got the rhythm, drive that knee up. Feel that pull forward slightly. There you go, okay? Try and see if you can combine them and find that rhythm where they skip together. Boom, 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 boom. Introduce some complexity. It's good for the agilities, okay? So, hang tight here, I'm gonna get a little drink. If you guys need a drink, grab a drink real quick. So those basic agility drills, you guys can revisit on a regular basis. Try and get the coordination piece down on it and work a little more on them. Okay, next we're gonna be doing our calibration for our jumps here. So what we'll be doing is loading the arms, pulling up at the knees, jumping, flexing. Hands will come down at the side as we land, okay? So from here, what you're gonna be doing is loading with the hands in front. You'll dip, scoop, knees will drive up, and then we'll land, okay? So we're going for one good jump with a nice smooth landing. So just basic precision calibrators here. So think about your technique, driving up, using the glutes, using the quad, full extension. Let's aim for 10 good ones. You can let the arms, I'll show it from profile, so you see what they look like. Okay, they can come in front and they can reload there. That scoop, trying to get to the point where when you touch the ground, your hands are behind you in that falcon or ego position, readying you for landings and coming into things with some velocity, okay? So, done a few of those. We're gonna add some depth, you guys. So we're gonna do the jump this time, and when you finish the jump, you're gonna float down, falling leap style. Remember the metaphor? We're going for 5-star hotel elevator, nice and smooth. You don't even know when you got to the floor you're landing on. On the other side of the spectrum, 2-star elevator, old hotel, boom, stops halfway, and there's a gap between the floor that you're landing on and the actual elevator. So we're nice and smooth, up, down. Again, trying to not stop at any particular point except for the bottom, okay? And then slowing that on the way down, okay? Arms here. Nice and smooth down. So ease into that drop. I'll do it from profile. So my feet touch, and I flex into the landing. So I'm looking for that. Give me 10 of these, you guys, if you already know them. Here. And even with that one, I think my heels are a little behind me. I'm gonna try and keep them in front with my toes flexed. Receive that landing and then ease into it, okay? If you find yourself doing this, you might not want to jump as high, okay? So you find yourself here, and then coming down in any fashion, try not to jump as high. Just do a little more modified. Here, whatever you can take, and still keep floaty down. Go down to a range of motion that's up to squat balance. So squat balance on the balls of the toe in the squat, not on the heels. This is our resting deep squat. This is squat balance, okay? So you'll come all the way down to squat balance, all right? Let's try one more, and then we're gonna see where the depth is. We'll modify as we go lower, as we stretch into essentially a modified sissy squat. So it looks like this. As a beginner, you're gonna jump here, flexion. Then I want glute flexion here, straightening the knees into almost like a sissy squat position, and then back to squat balance, even if it's a high squat balance. All right? So high squat balance is okay. Weight is on the balls of the feet. Again, jumping up. Hands come behind. Flex the glutes. Extend. And then return to squat balance. In whatever position is natural and easy for you guys to balance in. Heels aren't touching the ground in this exercise, all right? So let's get 5 of those in, gradually working lower and lower, all right? Here. Floating down, dipping out, coming back to the balance here. If you want, you can scoot back and come up back that way if you want to use a more natural pattern. So we're always going to try, continue working in those guys. We're always going to try to leverage those arms wherever we can and not have that disconnect between the body, lower extremities, and the upper extremities. So if I can come into this, instead of doing it like this, if I can use the arms the whole time, that's better because that's teaching me fundamentals and patterns that I'll use later on to move through other jumps and balancing, okay? So, on to a little more depth this time. We're gonna rock down. If you guys are not comfortable getting into the squat balance position and you can't get further down than maybe here where it's a lot of stress on the knees, I'm gonna have you ease into this on your own and stretch through it. So beginner, this is gonna look like this. Here, use your arms. All right, go be out in front. You'll find where the tension is. Let the arms dip behind as you roll onto the balls of the feet, flexing the glutes, and then come back up, flossing back up through the knee, using the quad to pull you back up with the glutes flexed, okay? It'll look like that. It's almost one of these, right? Almost a little like groove there, okay? Those of you guys who feel comfortable, the next more intermediate progression is going to be to just do the jump with the landing here. come into the squat position. I'm just gonna let you come here, down to relaxed. And then I'm gonna let you come up, squeezing through the glutes, flossing through the knees, pull on the quads. All right, as you come up, arms dip behind. Okay, so again, that was down. Once I got down here, I was in my squat balance. And then I just, as I come up, I flex and I let my hips lead me back up. If that bothers your knees or it feels too tight on the knees, don't go as low. So that made me being here, flexing through, and then lifting back up backwards, okay? Final progression, as you guys work through these, I want you to have at least, let's do 5 to 8 good ones. If you haven't been doing them already, you can work on if you've been doing them already, you can work on the harder progression here. So this one's gonna look like this: jump, landing, falling leaf, landing, down. Now I'm going to extend my knees to the ground, but they won't touch. So if I feel a little bit of like tickle from the carpet, that's fine, but no weight on the knees. You may have to work on this first by just doing a couple. 1, 2, 3. As soon as you calibrate, you'll feel yourself being able to get your knees closer out and flex your glutes more without relying on touching on the ground. So I start to lean back more as I become more successful at it, and then come back up. So from here, you're gonna do is that. You're gonna rock forward, nearly touch, come back, and extend back up from there, okay? Maybe like 2 to 3 of these at a high level of effort. So you try a few of these puppies here. Flex down into the squat, rock forward, don't let your weight fall onto the ground, barely touch or don't touch at all. Standing back up, try to hit that glute flexion at the top. Okay, get a quick drink of water if you want, and then listen to what I am explaining next. The next thing we're gonna be working on is a couple of jumping patterns, okay? So we're gonna be doing 2-foot and single leg jumping patterns. This pattern, the first pattern we're gonna work on is calibrating the plyo, the 2-foot plyo jump. This does not mean we're jumping hard, jumping super far, but it does mean we're focusing on a couple things. Where is the setup? Where for our maximum jump? I'm gonna give you guys some modifications for that. And then where is the landing? And then how are our arms working in those plyos, okay? It's a good time to practice this technique. Should be calibrated daily. Floss your teeth, calibrate your precisions. That's just good movement hygiene and life hygiene, okay? So what we'll do is the first variation is gonna be just to put the arms in front, all right? We'll swing behind, and then remember to open with the hips in the jump, reach, okay? Even though we're not going super far because you may have restrictions in your house, we're gonna reach, all right? Then we're gonna get our hands back in our pockets, back into this like falcon catches fish position is what I'm calling it. Caw-caw, right? I don't know, they don't caw-caw, they kind of like, it's just like a ear-piercing screech, but I can't do it yet. I'm practicing. All right, so that's gonna mean the set, load, jump, hands behind, and then you'll feel that motion come back up, all right? The hands will swing behind. As they come back up, that same thing we practiced during warm-up where the arms swing and they make the chest real light. That's what we're gonna combine into that jump. And then your next jump is just gonna land comfortably. All right, so arms in front. All right, we'll set, we'll load, jump. Okay, nice and easy. So the one thing you wanna make sure is that the landing in that jump is fast. Okay, so we'll land and we'll pop back up fast. All right, let's get a good 8 of these in. 6 to 8, one continuous motion being 1. All right, in the setting position, load, jump. Okay, I really want you to focus on what happens with the arms in this jump. I'm gonna do it really short here so you can see what happens to the arms. Set, load, jump and reach. Okay, and you guys can watch me do that again. Here, there's a couple arm swings in here. It's like 3 circles that help me transfer this momentum up and forward that comes from the jump. Here, 1, 2, and then my landing is a slow 3. So it's actually like 3 sort of like little scoops in there that I use to either leverage momentum in the jump and in the plyo, and then regain control in the balance, all right? So again, let's get 8 of those guys in. I'll do a few in front of you just so you can see them. So you can see I'm only working with, I don't know, maybe like 6-ish, 6.5 feet here of space, but I'm still able to practice the technique. Weight around the balls of the feet, pretty much the entire time. You might have a little bit of a heel kiss as you recoil on that plyo. Let's go ahead and get a couple more in, guys. Okay, looks good. Is anyone stuck on that technique at all? I can take a question from you guys if you're having trouble. If anybody's having trouble, go ahead and raise your arms and flail them for help. I didn't mean fillet, but I did because I'm hungry. So I was thinking fillet, but not fish fillet. All right, filet mignon. Okay, let's move into the single leg jump. So in this stride, what's going to be tougher for you guys, I'm going to ask you to focus on coming out of a 2-foot position. So if we come just in the regular stride, where you're just sort of like pushing and reaching for a target in front of you, your arms might swing here, and then you might go into the position like that. So we're going to start out with that one, and I'm going to let you guys do that just to get the reciprocation down. So if I push off my left and I jump to my right leg, 1, 2. Pull the heel up behind you, nearly Mugatu and Derek Zoolander style. I'm down with that. Focus on pulling that hamstring, not in an injury sense, but in an activation sense here. All right, lean forward, 1, 2, 3. Okay, hit like 3, just to get used to that basic reciprocation of which arm comes up and which leg comes back, leaning forward, 1, 2, 3. Okay. From this side, just so I'll do it in one spot so you guys can see if you're comfy with the technique. Off this leg. Okay. Emphasizing the arms there because there's a pull in front and behind, and that when I reciprocate. Okay. All right, try a couple more because we're going to move on to something a little trickier. Okay. The next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be moving into those strides out of a 2-foot jump. So there's a tricky arm move here a lot of people struggle with that they should really be drilling first on their own in order to bring into the strides that you're using when you jump into objects that aren't, actually have a target and they're elevated, okay? So from here, what we're gonna be doing is we'll lean forward, and as we lean forward in our jump, we're going to put one arm up. Here, I'll demonstrate here. 2-foot jump to take off. Okay, and that's what that starting position is gonna look like. So we're coming from 2 feet, all right? When I come into 2 feet, I'm gonna jump into the air. As my body starts to pass forward, I'm gonna let one arm drop, and then I'm gonna let the other knee come up into the stride. So the feet will float away, and it'll look something like this from profile. Okay, I'm dealing with a wall here, so forgive me. Maybe I'll jump up on it, and that'll make it the emphasis a little better here. So I'm gonna be jumping to one leg off 2. So the first mechanic is just a 2-foot jump, but then I'm gonna let one arm come behind and one leg come behind in the front. So that's gonna be, from jumping to my right leg, it'll look like this. Okay, and that would mean both arms and legs stand up and push out. I'm gonna pull my right leg forward, and I'll leave my right hand in front and sort of lazily come behind me before it activates back here. I'm gonna be in the stride position, and that's gonna help me jump to the second stride, okay? So again, jumping from one leg to 2, or excuse me, from 2 legs to 1 here. And trying to get 2 in there, okay? So I do a stride, stride if you have room for it. All right, we do that again from here. 2 feet, jump, cast, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and as I do that, I'm going to lean forward. My momentum's going to start carrying me forward. Again, if you're training in socks, be mindful of slipping here. Okay, so let's try this one again. So pick one side to start with, and that's the one you're going to work on. You'll know you're doing it right if you can do this like 2-foot jump, but land on one leg in a manner that makes you feel powerful, like you can prime and jump in. And then the reciprocation will be the next part. Again, the arm technique is what most people are going to have some struggle with. So again, that's here, jump, and then this arm just comes behind, and this one will be up, and then I'll scoop, march, scoop. Okay? So if you have trouble with that, you can try the march. Just so you're used to reciprocating, okay? Let's try a couple more of those, and then we're gonna move on to a jump at the end, all right? So we're gonna add one more jump at the end of that. You'll do stride, stride. You'll land 2 feet. You'll let the arms come back together. Both your arms will cast forward, and you go into another jump. This will be a 2-foot jump. It looks something like this. I'll try and do it at a little bit of an angle here so you guys can get an idea of it. Here, scoop, scoop, scoop in the jump, okay? So it's 1, 2-foot jump, stride, stride, then land in precision, arms will come back behind. So now you're starting with the arms moving together in the takeoff, then you're switching to an asymmetrical arm swing for the strides, and then you're getting used to them coming in front again and both landing together here. So at the end, the arms will meet each other again and then parachute out as you move into that like falcon or eagle position for the precision, all right? So here, 2 arms, 2, 1, 1 together, and then land, all right? If you have the technique of just 2-foot jump, stride, stride, precision, or 2-foot landing, that's great. If you don't work on that, if you have it and you're super comfortable with it, you need to place an emphasis on the arms, because otherwise the body is not moving collectively when we're jumping. Intuitively, you may be able to do it, but you may have trouble on your offside. So you can practice that both sides. We won't do that yet today. I had you pick one side, and then in another scenario, when you have time, here, you can try it on the other side of the body. That way you'll always be able to go from a 2-foot jump to targets using either leg, depending on whether you want to use it for power, for a big jump, or if you want to use one little smaller jump for the setup, and your next jump needs to be a more powerful jump. You need to be ambidextrous, and you need to be working on both sides of that. Okay, that's it. That's it for the jumping. Again, you guys, with that one, I would recommend, not required, that you begin practicing it with the precision. And so again, we have these precision trainers that we're selling on their website right now. They look super cool. They aren't as likely to slip. They're made of the firm rubber mats, okay? And then they give you a target, nice rounded edges, so you won't dig into your feet too much. I love one. I have one at home right now. I just love putting it in different places and jumping to it. So this thing is a fun treat. Otherwise, you guys can use a towel. Again, watch for the slip risk on something like a towel or a small target like that. Rubber might work a little better. Maybe like one of those kitchen holders for your pan or whatever. That might work too. But, you know, wash it before you cook with it again. Don't be gross. All right. So for the last about 10 minutes, we're going to work on some upper body patterns where we're going to be doing some crawling. And so I'm going to show you guys a couple different movement patterns for crawling. I'm going to move my camera down a little bit here so that you guys can see a little more of the ground, because I'm going to get down on the ground here. Okay. All right. So down here, we have a couple positions that I want you to become super comfy with. This one is the squat balance position. And one of the exercises I want you to be able to do regularly is a rock onto your hands where you extend your shoulders here. And then as I touch the ground, I receive a little bit and then push back up. So here I'm reaching for the ground. I touch, I receive, and then I push back. So I have that spiral strength in my arms and my extremities, but I'm also like sort of receiving the ground and then pushing back up. That's different to just like falling on the hands or putting all your energy through your wrists and just like punching into the ground like that. I'm gonna reach, and then I'm gonna touch, I'm gonna receive in the shoulders, and then I'm gonna push back up, all right? And then put me here, reach, receive, and then press back up, okay? Here, reach, touch, receive, press back up. So all this is the pressing in the shoulder. If you don't know this technique, you can start with the back rounded like this, and then pinch the scaps together to get a little feel. But that's the technique that we're doing, okay? As you become more comfortable with that, we're gonna go for like 20 of these guys. So just go ahead and get started if you already know them. But I want you to think about making the technique a little more advanced by coming up out of the squat into this position and adding a little more distance into it. Reach, press, and then return. So here I'm reaching, catching, returning. And now I have some flexions in my quad. Some flexion in my quad. So now I'm coming back up into this position. If you can hold the squat balance a little higher, it's going to give you a nice volume in the legs. Good. And then just relax for a second with that. So the reason I really like that one is, one, it's got you down in a squat. So you're working on that range of motion, but then you're also holding in some flexion, which is going to make your legs stronger in that squat position. It's going to be better for the knees. And as you learn to like reach to the ground and be more dexterous, that translates to the single arm movements, and also translates to the symmetrical movements. Learning to reach, receive, and take some of that weight from the landing, and not just take everything in the joints, all right? Using the muscles to receive. I'm gonna do one in front, just so it makes some more sense. You may have a slight bend in your arms in order to protect your elbows. That's fine. Okay, next one that we're gonna do, I'm gonna have you guys work on this step vault thread here. And what this one is gonna be in this lunging position here. So I've got 1 foot up, okay? And then I've got 1 foot, I'm on the ball of my foot here, you can see. I'm on the ball, it's not flat, although I could extend it if I really wanted to, if I needed to be really like sneaky, okay? But I don't need to, so I'm not gonna. Here, okay? From this position, I'm gonna put my left hand out in front. I'm gonna rock over the ball of my foot, pushing on this quad, this leg not to grind on my knee. It's gonna come up, I'll step here, then I'll let this leg come through like that, okay? Once I'm in this position, and this leg has come back through, I'm going to pull it in like this, and then I'm gonna transition here, okay? This is gonna set me up for the other side. Rock through, step through, step chamber back, and then come into this position. This is gonna allow you to sort of travel down a straight plane continuously using that step slide mechanic, or whatever we're gonna call it here. So let me show you that again with some distance in here. I'm gonna start back here. All right, here, I'm gonna reach, step, here, good. That'll put me in this position. Reach in the QM, step, thread, okay? And then I'll have you come back in here. Good. Reach, so here I'm on both balls of the feet, look. Okay? Now I go this side. And then I thread through. What do you do with the offside hand, okay? The answer is the same thing you do in like a step vault, something that's more natural, okay? I like to, if I'm doing this one, just keep it up to sort of help me with balance here, all right? Just right here, right? Where I can like grab something if I needed to, but really the more honest answer is I'm counterbalancing here with the weight with the leg, okay? So basically a nice sort of neutral position here. If you're gonna have any bend in the arm, I like to have just a slight bend as opposed to like reaching here very formally or doing, I see some people doing this choppy thing. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's a defense or something, I don't know. But this is more natural, okay? Then I can transition here, scoop in, boom, into this position. Squat forward, reach with the outside hand. Good. In, hold up, into this position. This hand comes forward, step, slide through, okay? Right? And this can get swaggier. So if you're in here and you have the knee range of motion, your knees are good, excuse me. You can come in here, point the toe, let it fold in to the outside of the hip, like that, okay? And that can be a very smooth position as I thread through here. Boom. And then I can do that. Then you can train a line of these on the ground, so I want everybody to try a few of them. Get back in a line, see if you can like link them all together and make them flow, okay? So, continuous. More fluid even. I won't necessarily say flow. You can play with using your arms on both sides. I like this side here on the same side like that's forward because it resembles more of the mechanic for going to a step vault like that. Okay, but you could certainly use either side. Reach. Here. Okay. Try again. This one's sort of a good cool down. Also going to be real easy on the knees, except for the time you're getting a lot of volume in there. These are very like straight movements. And even in here, I'm starting to open up. So if you can make that modification to be here, and as you scoop in, open the hips, squeeze the glutes, and then push slightly back into this position. It's in a more stable position, ready for action, okay? So work on that. Yeah, you could reverse it and start moving down backwards, or you could play with the mechanic of just doing the step on one side, boom, 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 and flowing through them like that. That's fine too, but I like that one because it teaches you the pattern to prep for the step vault a little better on the ground. Okay, you guys, so that's it for today. Again, we went over, we had a nice warm up. Our homework is gonna be to focus on those patterns that you guys were working on before. I'll show you them again. So that's your focus on your patterns of being able to jump in and out, reciprocate, okay, in these till they get nice and smooth. Your patterns for jumping with the 2-foot plyos is homework. Your big piece of homework is gonna be that 2, 1, 1, 2 mechanic, okay? Setting up for longer progressions than that. Then do a little bit, play around a little bit with that groundwork. Real easy. I'm working on the knees, getting them nice and strong. All right, you guys can hit me up with questions in a session right now that I'm gonna do for Q&A. So if that's it, if you're just hanging out for that lesson, you don't have any questions, you're welcome to jump off now. Otherwise, hang around for some Q&A or check out more of the recordings online.